Hey, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today, we're reviewing the Nordica Enforcer 94. Now, full disclosure, I paid the money to demo these. Luckily, I was working with Greenwoods and they were able to give me a discount on that demo. I still paid money, but big shout out to Greenwoods. Thank you for that discount. It's only going to allow me to review more skis and I'm super grateful. As always, I'm not paid by Nordica or any other ski brand out there, so you know what, I don't know. This is a completely independent review and I'm gonna give you my honest opinions about what I thought of this ski. Part of being independent means that I have affiliate links down below. If you decide to purchase this ski or any other ski out there, please use the affiliate codes down in the description because honestly, that's what kind of keeps everything running and allows me to operate independently and continue to make these videos. So if you're in the market for a ski, please use that, but no pressure to buy anything. I don't care. That's not what I do. Just, if this helped you make a decision, I would appreciate it. It's a way to support the channel without costing you anything extra. You can also like and subscribe, all that jazz, but what you really came here for is this ski review, so let's jump into it. Now, I skied these in a 185, which means they had an 18-meter turn radius. They have 2 sheets of Titanal with new wood. This version of the ski has been refreshed for 2025, so if you're looking at the 2024 version, they are different. I didn't really like the old version of the Nordica Enforcer for 2024 and older. You can see here a little bit of tail splay, not a ton of tip splay. It's there, but it kind of starts late in the ski, which is fine, it's pretty standard. And I'd say medium amount of camber. The camber shape is different than most of their skis. I would say it's almost like not as sharp and a little bit more gradual. It's almost like a longer camber than you would see without sticking out a ton. Nordica also uses what they call their pulse core, which is essentially like an elastomer that goes in between the sheets of Titanal. I don't know. I'm not too into the marketing gimmicks, but you know, just for your notes. But now that we've covered all that and gotten it out of the way, let's talk about the really important part. How did this ski actually feel on snow? And I have a lot of things to say. Now, my first impression having these on snow, I took them for kind of a softer day. We had a bunch of snow over the weekend and last week, and then things kind of warmed up. We got a little bit of rain and then it kind of froze at night and then softened up again today. There wasn't any rain today, but there had been the previous day. And my first impression with this ski, and knowing the Nordica Enforcer 99, which I did like as kind of a crud cutter option, I feel like this was a good snow condition to kind of show what these skis are good at for kind of diver snow, carving, maybe some parts that are a little bit firmer and some parts that are a little bit softer depending on the sun exposure. Just kind of adverse conditions, because I feel like this ski and like Vocal M7 Mantras, things like that, that's kind of where they shine, so I wanted to showcase it that way. My first impression was honestly, this ski requires a lot of patience. You really cannot rush this ski in and out of the turn. You have to kind of wait for it to come around when it's ready to come around if you want to enjoy it. It's kind of more of a passive skiing style rather than be like, I'm gonna build the pressure, I'm gonna go now. It's like, nope. If you do that, it is so easy to kind of go over the front of the ski or have it do things that don't feel good. If you want the ski to feel good, you have to really wait for the turn to set the way that it wants. And specific ski styles, this rewards more than others. Overall, I enjoyed the ski, but I did feel like it was a very distinct ski and it took a little bit of time to kind of figure out what felt good and what didn't. But now that we've talked first impressions, let's talk about the good and then we'll talk about the drawbacks, because every ski has drawbacks and I feel like this ski specifically, I have not heard enough of the drawbacks. I don't know what it is with the ski industry. Everybody loves this ski and that's always been the case. I know that this is a fan favorite and there's a lot of things I really like about the ski, but this ski, like every ski, has downsides and I'm gonna tell you about them. But first, the good. The best thing about the ski is the apex of the turn feels so good. If you get this ski timed right and you're patient with your turn and you let it kind of build up and make that nice cruisy kind of turn, it is the cleanest apex of the turn I've ever felt. This was such a fantastic ski for big open radius turns, cruising kind of through the turn and letting the ski kind of take its shape without forcing it into something uncomfortable. The other thing that I felt is that this ski in all conditions with that big open cruising turn feels so reliable and so safe. This is the most confident I've felt on skis and I kind of understand the popularity in that way. Knowing that like, okay, if the snow's soft, if it's firm, as long as I hit it in its sweet spot, it is gonna come through the turn in a smooth and rewarding way. And I kind of appreciate how consistent these skis are and how secure they feel in and out of the turns. This felt like a ski that you could own and be like, I'm gonna take it today, and no matter what, with a few exceptions, I'll probably have a good time. I think that's really important for a mid-width ski, and I can see the value in that being like, oh, I feel comfortable. I don't feel like I'm gonna go over the top, or I don't feel like I'm going to crash because I didn't get the turn through, or I don't feel like the snow conditions are gonna just make me miserable all day. I'm gonna get pinged around. This ski is reliable and smooth in all conditions, and having a ski that performs consistently for you, especially if you get all ranges of weather, is really valuable to a lot of people. The other positive is I think that for specific ski styles, this ski is really rewarding, especially if you like the bottom third of the turn where you're more on the tails and releasing. It's really fun to kind of sit there and let the ski shoot out from under. Some skis are a little bit more active towards the tips. I would say that these are primarily towards the tails. And specifically, if you have the ski style where you like to kind of throw your skis at the turn, where you kind of unload them and then let them just like grab and hook up, they reward that style of skiing a ton. Not everybody skis that way, but for people who like to throw the skis and then let them re-hook up, I will say, I kind of played with that today. I'm like, oh, it is very satisfying if you ski in that style. But now that we've talked about the good, let's talk about the downsides, because like every ski, this ski has a handful of them. But also, whenever a ski makes sacrifices in certain areas, it's usually so other things can feel good. But, you're gonna wanna know about them, because if you don't care about the downsides, then sure, this ski is perfect for you. But if you do care, then there might be other options. The first kind of glaring downside I see is the tips are a bit odd. It's less noticeable on the Enforcer 99, but as the ski gets narrower, I notice that these tips don't have a ton of bite. They really, really don't want you to be super active at the beginning of the turn. They want you to kind of wait for the second half to turn. For some people that may not matter. It's certainly a specific ski style, but it's not at all like an Atomic or Solomon or Stokely where you're a little bit more active in the tips. These tips aren't going to kind of engage. They want you to kind of wait for the turn to set in. That may be a downside if that's your ski style. The other thing that I noticed is that the little hop turns, like quick turns, this ski really struggled with. Because again, when you're doing a hop turn, think about it, you're kind of pre-initiating the turn and you're wanting to do quick little turns. If you're outside of that smooth radius, this ski really is not very fun. If you have to do kind of hop turns down something that is steep and narrow, I found these to be, you can do it, but it's not satisfying, and then the ski really fights you on it. That being said, I did find that when the snow got really soft, like soupy soft, then it did it really well. I'm not sure. But if you just kind of have like general West Coast soft snow, it didn't like the little hop turns. I mean, you don't kind of expect that with a big dense ski, but like if you're gonna go in the trees at all, I did not enjoy doing the little quick hop turns. Again, but then there was like a part of the day where the snow got really soft, and then it felt great. It was like once the ski could totally wash out, then it did do fun, weird turns. So your mileage may vary, but I would just say, if the temperature is below 34 and you want to do quick hop turns, the ski fights you. But once you get to like 36 and it's really like soupy, when it goes from like mashed potato consistency to almost like a curry or something with rice, I don't know. That's when it feels good. The other big downside with these skis is, unlike the Enforcer 99, these skis do struggle a lot more once you take them off trail. They can kind of do it in soft snow or bad weather, but it's not nearly as kind of consistent as the Enforcer 99. It's a lot more like kind of ruddering a boat, where you just kind of like point the skis and then ride them and then try to redirect them. Rather than some of the alternatives like an M7 Mantra or an Enforcer 99 that you can actually make the turns. You're kind of just steering these. I think the lack of width really makes this ski struggle more off trail than some of the other alternatives. If you're looking at these, I would primarily stick on trail with light amounts of off trail skiing. All in all, I think to kind of summarize the downsides, this ski really isn't very diverse for the width. It's not very diverse in the types of terrain you can take it in comfortably. I mean, you can do it, but it struggles more than some of the wider counterparts. I also feel like it doesn't have a ton of turn diversity. If you kind of get outside what the ski's good at, it struggles more or just fights you, or it'll make the turn, but it's pretty unrewarding. So there's not a lot of like turn diversity, and there's not a lot of terrain diversity. But that being said, the turns that it does make feel really clean, really sturdy, but it's lacking a ton of diversity in multiple aspects. So what would I give these for a score? God, that's a hard question, because if you like to just cruise and make gradual cruisy turns, like if you're a big cruiser, I don't know if I'm using that word right, but if you like to kind of make mellow gradual turns and be on the tails for the turn, it is really reliable. and it is very consistent in how it feels on different types of snow, and it does that turn super well. It aces that turn. It's probably the best at making those cruisy turns, but it's very stubborn. It does not like to take other radiuses. It does not like to be rushed in the turn. It does not like to kind of have you be active on the tips. It doesn't want to be rushed in its timing of the turn. It's very kind of persnickety in its performance. So what would I give it? Honestly, I would compare these to like an angsty teenager. These skis are just kind of moody in a weird way. Like if you're patient with them and you get them to kind of make the turn they want to make, they ace it. It's a beautiful, smooth, reliable turn. But if you go outside of that, if you want a little more turn initiation, or you want to kind of jumpstart the turn a little early, they really fight back more than any other ski I've seen. So in no way are they like a bad ski. And in fact, some of the turns I made today felt so good. Probably some of the best turns I made all year. But you really have to line everything up. It has to be the right snow consistency. It has to be the right timing of the turn. It has to be the right turn radius. It has to be initiated and kind of sat on at the right time. There's so many things that have to line up. But when you get all those things lined up, it's amazing. It's a great turn. For me, I don't know. There's a lot of other options out there, and a lot of skis that have a little bit more flexibility. Even the Nordic Enforcer 99, I feel like, is a little less picky about how you ski it. It's also like not that damp. I took it on some kind of death cookies and some firmer snow, and while it wasn't bad, it's not nearly as damp as some of the other skis out there, especially as you get on more hard pack snow. It's okay, but I don't know, I'm not gonna write home about the dampness. It's pretty good. That being said though, once you ski it right and once you kind of figure out what it's for, you'll have a ton of fun. So for me, I'm gonna give these a 7.8 out of 10. I think for the people who like cruisy turns, who like being patient in the turns, who like that ski style of kind of being on the back half of the turn, they're gonna have a ton of fun. But for everybody else who's like looking for a diverse turn, who wants to initiate more on the tips, I just think that, especially this width in particular, there's not a lot of diversity for terrain you can take it on, and then there's very little diversity on turn shape you can make where it feels really good. So it kind of becomes this thing where if it lines up for you, you're gonna love it. You're gonna be so thrilled to be on these. But if your ski style doesn't line up, if the terrain doesn't line up, and the turn radius doesn't line up, then these are very touchy in that sense. I kind of feel like this width is more touchy than the 99 even. So, I don't know. I just think that for what you're spending for $750 and the ski's lack of diversity, especially even compared to other Nordic Enforcers, or a Volcal M7 Mantra, or even like a Stokely Storm Rider. I know those are more expensive, but they have a little bit more diversity, especially in turn shape. You could go for like a Mantra 88. I think this is a good ski. It's definitely the most smooth and reliable turn, and you feel safe in the turn. Like, it's just holding, it's strong, it feels good, but I think just this width in particular, the value versus what you're getting and when it's gonna feel good and how much it fights back if you try to ski any other way, I would just say this is a very particular specialized tool. I had a lot of fun on it. I liked kind of getting that turn style, but whenever the terrain didn't allow me to get in that big open turn radius, it was like shockingly bitey, shockingly fighting back. It almost felt unsafe for a couple of turns. It really didn't like having the tips kind of messed with. I don't know, there's some skis where it's like, okay, the ski doesn't feel as good. Like if you look at a Peak 88, it really likes cruisy turns too, but if you kind of finesse it, you can get some of those quick turns out of it, or you can kind of have a little bit of flex in the radius. This is like hard locked, and if you don't like it, it's their way or the highway. At least like for this specific ski. So I don't know, I think 7.8, it's good at what it does, but the range is kind of surprising, and the amount of pushback if you try to ski any other way. It's less flexible than most skis when it comes to ski style or turn shape. All in all, I like this though. I had a lot of fun, but I don't know. I just think there's other better alternatives out there that I'd rather be on. Part of that's my ski style, but again, I don't care if you buy stuff or not. I'm just trying to give you my honest opinion, help you guys narrow down who this is good for. If you're somebody who likes that cruisy turn, you like kind of the tail part of the turn and it shooting out from under you, you'll probably have a ton of fun with these. But if that's not for you, then maybe look at something else. So anyway, that's the end of the video. If you want to support these kind of reviews that are in my backyard and completely just my opinion, please consider using the affiliate links down below. If you're purchasing any ski gear, I'll have Evo, REI, Backcountry, wherever this is available, I'll have a link for it. We also have channel memberships where I'll reply to your comments. You get to see some of this content early. I also, if you want to like and subscribe, all that stuff helps me out a ton. But more than anything, just thanks for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. That's what means a ton to me, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. If you've skied on these, I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments. Like, I always love kind of comparing notes with people, so that'd be great. But as always, more than anything, just thanks for being here. Thanks for taking time out of your day. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.
Be underappreciated or under alleviated.
What she do?
Ajumbolo,
Some came in the mail today.
Miorambaro,
These nuts.